Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Tia Ramey. I'm a marketing and communications professional that loves giving communication tips and strategies to leaders that help them in their personal and in their professional life. The point of my channel is to really help you prevent the need of a crisis communications professional. And gosh, it's so easy to create crisis in your personal and professional life now. And so I'm here to teach new communication tips and skills and strategies that you probably haven't heard. And a lot of them come from my book. It's called Mastering Difficult Conversations in a Modern World. You can find it on my website, tiaramey.com. And tonight, what I wanted to talk to you about specifically is the difference between what is an opinion versus what is the truth. So often we are finding so many people saying things like my truth, and this has become problematic when it comes to some of our communications, because what happens is when you believe you have the truth all by yourself, when someone comes and they present you with another perspective, a different angle, then you're not as open as you should be with accepting what someone else may have to say and the contributions that they are trying to make to the dialogue and the narrative. And see, here is a very important detail that we have to keep in mind when we're communicating with people. I always say it's best to take the approach that you do not have the truth alone. Truth is what happens when we're all putting our pieces together. And mostly when we can find what the common threads are that make sense, once we're all piecing these things together, then we have the truth. But if you're focused on, you're saying, I have the truth, then when someone else says something that you didn't know, you're struggling to think that they have the truth. And they may very well. So the amazing thing about the truth is that it actually doesn't really change. It's actually not subjective at all. The only thing that is subjective is our perspectives of the truth. We have very limited perspectives. We have different angles. Opinions change all the time, and opinions change based on, at times, receiving new information. Our job is to make sure that we position our minds and our hearts to be in this place where we can accept that new information may be available. And that's very important to know and to keep in mind. If you are in this place where truth for you is subjective to who you are, then you have to ask yourself, what is the protocol that you have, that you've put in place to receive new information so that your perspective can evolve? And we should always be ready to have an evolving perspective. And the reason why I say that truth actually doesn't change, it is actually objective, it isn't subjective, is because let's just use this one example, right? Someone can walk up to you and say, hey, guess what? Grandma's ignoring me. She's not hearing what I'm saying. She's not responding to me at all. And I am feeling really bad about that, right? And then you may say, well, did grandma have her hearing aid in? Because the truth is that maybe grandma is hearing impaired. Now, if they're saying, well, my truth is that grandma is ignoring me and she's not paying me any attention and she's not responding to me. And if they think that that's true and you're presenting a different angle, then they can be combative because they're in a position where they feel rejected. And that's not necessarily the case. What is true is grandma's hearing impaired. She actually couldn't hear you. She's not ignoring you. You just don't know how to communicate with someone that is struggling to hear. That is the absolute truth. That doesn't change. But your opinion will change. And you have to decide, well, I drop this offense and accept that grandma's hearing impaired, or will I stick to my narrative? If someone can easily present to you different information that will shift your narrative, it means you didn't have the truth. It just means you had a perspective of the truth. It means that you have an angle. It means that you have an opinion about what happened. And oftentimes we are translating the facts, and we both can be two logical people that have our translation of the facts, but it doesn't mean we're going to come to the same conclusions. And that's okay. So make room for people to bring you new information. Make room for your perspective to shift or evolve based on the fact that you have an opinion. Other people have an opinion, and now we've got to put these pieces together, because what truth is actually consistency. We should all be able to put our pieces together and it makes sense. That's how you know what is true. What is true is my name is Tia Ramey. I will always be Tia Ramey. It doesn't matter what people think of me. It doesn't matter what books may say about who I am. It doesn't matter if I die. I will always be me. That will always be true. There is nothing anyone can do about that. People will have different perspectives about me. They will have different stories about me, and they may all be true. But the one truth is, I am me. I am who I am, and that will never, ever change, right? I am Tia Ramey. So this is why I say you have to keep in mind and take a very humble approach to understanding what truth is. Truth is consistent. It is constant. It is that one thing that cannot and will not be changed. Opinions will change. Opinions will change because of time. Opinions will change because of perspective. Opinions will change because of experience. Truth does not belong to us as individuals. There is one truth. And we can all bring our pieces together so we can go down this journey together. And that is what communication is. The entire purpose, and I say this all the time, of communicating is to go on a journey together, figuring out what the truth is. So we have to make room for people to bring us those additional pieces of the puzzle. And if you've ever done a 1,000 piece puzzle, you know that one piece makes up a teeny tiny portion. You might be the sky. If you have other pieces that connect, you might be the grass, you might be the trees, whatever that picture is, but every single piece matters. But there's only one image. And that's what we all have in this life. We have a piece of the puzzle. And our conversations, our opportunities to banter, to disagree, this is our opportunity to figure out, are you the grass? Are you the sky? Where are you in this landscape? Some pieces are going to connect. Some pieces may not, but there's one image. And that's why we have books. That's why we have these podcasts and opportunities like this, so that we can try to figure out what is true. But know for a fact that truth is objective. There is one absolute truth of what truly is. Truth can be tested. It can pass through time. It can pass through experience. It can pass through anything, and it's still the same. That's what truth is. So instead of saying my truth, let's say my perspective, my experience. These things really help you, especially if it's very important to you to have agreement. Sometimes we're talking because we want people to agree with us. And if you want someone to agree with you, then you have to say, from my perspective, in my opinion, my experience, because people will agree that this is your perspective of the truth. They may not agree with how you're translating the truth. Okay? So we keep these things in mind, and we set people up for success when we're talking to them, especially if you truly want to be in connection. So this is my tip for tonight on the difference between what is true, what is an opinion. We all have opinions. Our opinions will change as we grow and evolve throughout life, and we have to make room for one another to do so. That's the beauty of evolution. Thank goodness that we're not locked into one frame of mind. Thank goodness that people can sit down and talk to us and present to us new information. And in that process of receiving new information, we get the opportunity to become new people and forge new alliances. It's the beauty of life, is that we are all changed every time we have a new conversation and we're presented with new facts. And we make a decision as to whether or not we're going to allow that new information do its work in us. And that's up to you, but it's a beautiful opportunity to grow. And even if you have not changed your mind, you at least learn something new about the world around you. And that is still a wonderful chance to be in connection with those that you talk to. But please make sure that you make room to consider other perspectives, that you do not have the truth all by yourself, contained within your body and your teeny tiny experience for life. You're a speck in the entire world. And so you have a perspective, you have an opinion, you have an experience, but together, we have the truth. Anyhow, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. I talk a lot about things like this in my book, Canceled. Again, you can get it off of my website, tiaramey.com. Also do a lot of training workshops and classes, whether it is with a small group or if it's corporate training or in a classroom with students. I've taught a lot with Ohio State University. I've been at Columbus College of Art and Design, and I just love teaching. So if there's any opportunities like this, just hit me up on my website, and I'm more than happy to get in touch. Thank you again for joining me, and let me know what you thought about my video in the comments.